Story: The Man Who Watched Me Sleep. My name's Danny Brewer, and I live in a small house on the edge of Millwood, a nowhere town surrounded by pine trees and dirt roads. It's the kind of place where nothing happens, and that's how I liked it. I moved here 2 years ago after my divorce, wanting quiet. Just me, my dog Rusty, and a job fixing cars at Hank's garage. Life was simple, until the night I started feeling watched. It was a Tuesday, cold for October. I'd gone to bed early, worn out from swapping an engine all day. Rusty was curled up at the foot of the bed, snoring like a chainsaw. I don't dream much, but that night I woke up fast, heart pounding, like something had yanked me out of sleep. The room was dark, just the glow of the moon sneaking through the blinds. I lay still, listening. Rusty wasn't snoring anymore. He was sitting up, ears perked, staring at the window. "Rusty, what's up, boy?" I whispered. He didn't move, just kept staring. I sat up, rubbing my eyes, and looked where he was looking. The blinds were cracked open a little, and for a second, just a second, I thought I saw something. A shape, a face maybe, pressed against the glass. But when I blinked, it was gone. Probably the trees outside, I told myself. Shadows playing tricks. I got up, checked the locks, and went back to bed. Rusty growled low in his throat, but he settled down eventually. I didn't. The next night, it happened again. Same time, around 2 a.m. I woke up sweating, my chest tight. Rusty was at the window again, hackles raised. I didn't want to look, but I had to. I crept over, pulled the blinds up slow. Nothing. Just the yard, the shed, the pines, swaying in the wind. I laughed it off, told Rusty he was getting old and paranoid. But when I turned back to bed, I saw it. A muddy footprint on the floor by the window. Too big to be mine. I live alone. I cleaned it up, checked the doors again, and stayed awake until the sun came up. At work, I told Hank about it. He's a big guy, all beard and grease stains. Not the type to spook easy. "Probably kids messing around," he said. "Or a raccoon. Lock your windows, Danny. You'll be fine." I nodded, but I didn't feel fine. That night, I locked everything. Doors, windows, even the shed. I kept a baseball bat by the bed, just in case. Sleep didn't come easy. When it did, it was light. The kind where you're half awake, listening to every creak. I woke up to Rusty barking. Sharp, angry barks. Not his usual lazy yaps. I grabbed the bat and flipped on the light. He was at the window again, snarling now. I yanked the blinds open, ready to swing at whatever was out there. The yard was empty, but then I heard it. A low, slow laugh, like someone trying not to be heard. It came from inside the house. I spun around, bat raised. The bedroom was empty. Rusty stopped barking and whimpered, backing away from the window. I checked the closet, under the bed. Nothing. The laugh came again, fainter, from the hallway. My skin went cold. I live in a small house. 1 bedroom, 1 bath, a kitchen, and a living room. There's nowhere to hide. I stepped into the hall, bat shaking in my hands. The living room was dark, the TV off, the couch empty. But the front door, it was wide open. I know I locked it. I know I did. I ran over, slammed it shut, and turned the deadbolt. My hands were trembling so bad I dropped the bat. Rusty stayed behind me, whining. I grabbed my phone, ready to call the cops, but the screen was black. Dead, even though I'd charged it before bed. That's when I saw the footprints. Wet, muddy tracks leading from the door to the kitchen. I hadn't heard anyone walk past me. I followed them, slow, my breath loud in my ears. The kitchen light was off, but I could see the tracks stop at the back door. It was locked tight, like always. No one was there. I turned to go back, and that's when I saw him. He was sitting at my kitchen table, still as a statue. A man, tall, thin, wearing a long coat and a wide-brimmed hat that hid his face in shadow. He didn't move, didn't speak, just sat there, hands folded on the table. Rusty growled, but it was weak, scared. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. "Who are you?" I croaked. He didn't answer. Then, slow as death, he tilted his head up. His face, God, his face was wrong. Pale, stretched tight over his skull, with black eyes sunk deep like holes. His mouth was a thin line, no lips. just a slit. He smiled, and it was the worst thing I'd ever seen. I swung the bat. It hit him square in the head, hard enough to crack bone. He didn't flinch. The bat bounced off like I'd hit a wall, and that laugh came again, low, wet, right in my ear. I stumbled back, tripped over Rusty, and ran for the bedroom. I locked the door, shoved the dresser against it, and hid in the closet like a kid. Rusty stayed with me, shaking. I heard footsteps, slow, heavy, coming down the hall. The doorknob rattled. Then silence. I stayed in that closet until morning, too scared to move. When the sun came up, I crept out. The dresser was still against the door, untouched. No footprints, no laugh, no man. I told myself it was a nightmare. Had to be. But Rusty wouldn't go near the kitchen all day, and I couldn't shake the feeling of those black eyes on me. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat on the couch with the bat, lights on, TV blaring. Around 2 a.m., the power cut out. The house went dark, silent. Rusty started growling before I even heard it. The creak of the floorboards in the kitchen. I grabbed a flashlight, pointed it down the hall. He was there again, standing this time, his head brushing the ceiling. That smile stretched wider, splitting his face open, showing teeth like broken glass. He didn't move, just watched me. I screamed, threw the flashlight at him. It hit the wall and shattered. When I blinked, he was gone. I left the house that morning, packed a bag, took Rusty, and drove to a motel 2 towns over. I told Hank I quit, didn't explain why. The motel's cheap, but it's got lights and people, and I thought I'd be safe. I was wrong. Last night, I woke up at 2 a.m. Rusty was gone. He'd been sleeping right beside me. The room was dark, the curtains drawn. I heard that laugh again, soft, close. I turned on the lamp, and there he was, sitting at the foot of the bed, hat low, hands folded, his head tilted up, and those black eyes locked on mine. "You can't run," he said, his voice like gravel grinding together. "I like watching you sleep." I bolted out of the motel, left everything behind. I'm at a gas station now, writing this on a napkin because my phone's dead again. It's almost 2 a.m. The lights are flickering. I hear footsteps outside, slow and heavy. Rusty's still gone. I don't know what he wants, but I know he's here, watching, waiting for me to close my eyes. The end. So tell me, friends, will you sleep peacefully tonight, knowing the next time you open your eyes, someone might be watching? Danny tried running, hiding, even escaping town, but some nightmares, once they choose you, never really let go. If tonight's story gave you chills, don't forget to subscribe to Sleepy Screams. Every dark corner holds a new tale of terror. And remember, next time you check into a quiet roadside motel, think about this. Behind closed doors, countless real-life horror stories have unfolded. Unexplained disappearances, unsettling discoveries beneath mattresses, and rooms with histories too dark to ever truly erase. So tonight, when you hear a creak or a whisper, ask yourself, are you really alone? Good night. Sweet dreams.